Eliza was an innocent child with a loving family and had never really gotten himself into trouble. He and his close friends had a small group chat where they would send videos back and forth to each other to keep updated on their lives, and Eliza decided to take one of all of the ladybugs that had somehow made it into his room. For some reason, there were 3 of them all on the same wall, and he had to show his friends, but little did he know what was about to occur in this recording.
Show you all the ladybugs I have currently crawling on my wall. There's 1, 2, and 3. I really have no idea where they all came from. It's so annoying. Look at this little dude. Oh, what the oh my god. What the fuck?
Out of the blue, a large bang happened behind him, and he turned around to see some items on the floor that should not have been there. This was followed by a toy launching itself off from the cupboard shortly after he turned around, and this frightened Eliza. He ran out of his room before uploading the video to YouTube and sending it to his friends. They were in just as much disbelief as he was. The following video took place during a high-stress situation, and it is safe to say that the people who caused it were rather silly. You see, Pete was at work doing what he had to be doing to live, when all of a sudden he received a phone call from his neighbors telling him that the light was flickering aggressively. Why they informed him of a potential break-in rather than the police is beyond me, but Pete quickly got into his vehicle and drove home. With a high sense of urgency, he unlocked the door to uncover whatever was causing the light to flicker on the inside, and this is what went on from that point and forwards.
Work, and my neighbors called and said that my light is flickering in my apartment. So, let's go look. Nobody should be in here right now. Bro, why is my butt? Why is that on? Why was that damn door? That door was not shut. I don't. Who are you? What do you want? I'm out.
Straight after entering the property, the flickering came to a sudden stop, and nobody was seen inside. The first thing that Pete realized was that the stove was on, and he was certain that he had not left it that way. Otherwise, there definitely would have been a fire, so it must have only activated recently. Fortunately, he reached it in time to turn it off without a fire hazard, but this poltergeist was definitely close to causing far more damage than it likely intended. Stephen was quite the alcoholic when it came to English football matches, and his favorite type of beer was a Stella, by far. Every weekend, he would sit in front of the television and live a sedentary lifestyle, watching players run around and kick a ball whilst he was sitting on his large sofa and getting himself drunk. One day when an important match was happening, Stephen had a few more cans and got even more drunk than usual, and something happened that he initially believed was a figment of his drunk imagination. However, after looking back at the footage, he is now fully aware that this was not the case.
I think he's a bit camera shy himself. No, he still on the move. He just don't know where he wants to go, really.
I'll put some candles here. Come to us.
He's still going.
Come on.
Stephen's can of Stella somehow started to creep across the room as if it had a life of its own, and at the time, he was not frightened by this. He thought that his mind was playing games with him, but he was horrified after opening his camera roll the next morning, even posting the footage online. Since this day, he has never witnessed anything similar again and shows the video to everyone. It's his claim to fame, if you will. Becoming a grandmother is a huge part of somebody's life, and the grandma in the video that you are about to watch was making the most out of it. She was invited to babysit the children every couple of weeks, and whenever she came over, she made sure that she gave them the most fun day of their week. This time, she purchased some play-doh for them and went as far as buying a machine that let them shape the play-doh into all sorts of unique shapes. This was supposed to be an amazing toy, and she was sure that the eldest child would love it, but unfortunately, she was proven wrong in a way that nobody could have possibly predicted.
What are you doing, August? Playing with Play-Doh?
Mom, this is what I saw at the store. Hi, Grandma.
What are you doing?
Playing Play-Doh.
The toy moved on its own accord and freaked out the child evidently. The grandmother had purchased it from a normal retail store, so it made no sense as to why it would be haunted. She must have genuinely just gotten unlucky, as most victims of poltergeists do. The man who filmed the following series was known as the Killer Pigeon online, but his real name was Sam. He was watching some YouTube on his PC when he realized he could use his mobile camera as a PC webcam and decided to hook it up and test it out. This was revolutionary to him because he was planning on purchasing a webcam for his piece in order to record YouTube videos, but if his phone could do the trick, he would no longer need to save up for one because they are on the expensive side of things. The video you are about to see is a snapshot from his test, but something very peculiar happened. Have a watch.
I'm literally freaking shaking right now. I'm just so freaking scared. I just got finished checking my whole apartment. I just found out, oh my god, I just found out you can connect your camera to your computer that doesn't have a webcam, and you can use your phone as a camera. Okay, so I was on the photo booth app. I was just like, okay, let me play around with it. I haven't used this in forever. And oh my god, I'm so I was taking the photos, whatever, and I was looking back at them, and I saw that there's this black line, and it's because my cabinet opened a little bit, and I went to the next one, and I don't even know why this is like lit up back here. You know, this is like the thermal photo thing, and it's like lit up, so I kept going to the next one, and I swear I freaked out because, one, I don't know how it opened, but two, I swear that's like a face right there. Like, it's literally like, I don't understand like what that could be. Like, it's literally a face, and I'm like, I'm freaking out right now. And the next one, like, the computer started glitching, so it took, I don't know what this is, and then I took a photo. When I realized, it just like snapped a photo automatically. But I swear that's, and I've already checked. I checked my whole apartment. I thought maybe it was up this because this is black up here, but it was on the second shelf. Like, it was not up. It was right here, and there's nothing that looks anything remotely like that. Like, it's so, I don't understand. I don't know if I'm overreacting, or I don't know what to do. Like, I swear that's a face.
Slowly, Sam realized that the cabinet behind him had slowly opened whilst he was taking the photos, and this should not have happened, considering it had never done this before. Furthermore, An uncanny face was spotted within the crack of the doorway, staring deep into the camera, and after investigating the cabinet, it was evident that nothing within it looked remotely like the face. In order to gather some second opinions, Sam posted the video to social media, which is how I got a hold of it, and the reception was pretty similar to how he reacted. People believed that this must have been some form of poltergeist or paranormal entity, and that it looked nothing like anything in the cabinet. So now it was just a matter of how Sam approached things. He reached out to several ghost hunters, but he found none who would do the job without further evidence, so he resorted to complying with them. He needed to stay in the house for longer and gain more videos, so he did. And one night he was successful.
I was just filming, and all of a sudden, I see like the clothes just move in my closet. And every time they would turn on, I'd see them move a little bit more. And then I heard something just fall. So I immediately just stopped recording and I got up. But essentially it was just a hanger. Like looking back at the video now, I can see the hanger literally just fly off. Oh my God, you can literally see the pole. And lights here, and this is the hanger that fell, and this is the clothes that were shaking, and there's no way, like there's no space for anything, there's nothing, and I just don't know how that happened. And like for the hanger to like fly out, like they're obviously hooked. You guys use hangers, so I don't know. That was very strange and weird. And once I got up and checked everything, everything seemed to go back to normal. Did I go back to sleep? Absolutely not, but yeah, there we go. Another thing caught on camera. But yeah, we'll see how today goes.
Out of nowhere, the light in the closet began to flicker on and off uncontrollably, and as he clearly demonstrated, movement was a requirement for this to occur. As he desperately took out his phone and filmed the incident though, it became even more severe. The clothing inside of the closet started to shake aggressively, and the next day when Sam gave us a tour of the closet, it was extremely clear that there was no way anybody or anything could have fit inside of there to fake the video. Now so far, both of the clips that Sam had captured were from afar, and he had never plucked up the courage to get close to the action. In this final clip though, that changed, and he actually went to investigate what was going on. The tap for his bathtub continued to turn itself on and off at random intervals, so Sam decided that he was going to investigate the scene, and this is what he came across.
Okay, so it's 3 o'clock in the morning again right now. The water in my tub is turning on and off and on and off. It's been going on for a few minutes. I'm gonna go see what's going on. Oh shit. Oh, my shot glasses. Oh, this.
After turning off the tap and finally hearing silence, the cupboard started to vigorously shake, followed by one of his shot glasses collapsing to the ground and smashing. The only positive outcome of this is that he finally had enough evidence to get a ghost hunter down to the house, and they are scheduled to come within a week. We will update you on this channel if the cleansing works, or if it does not, so subscribe, so you do not miss it. Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has become a regular on this channel over the last few months and appears in almost every single video. This is because he is by far the most consistent ghost hunter, posting new content all of the time to make sure that he keeps both his viewers and himself busy. The following video took place in a haunted manor and shows his experience with a deranged patient who was known for chasing the nurses who worked in the manor all around it, eventually being locked inside of a room until death, which is why he haunts the location. This was the interaction.
Hard to breathe in here. I really don't like this feeling. I can feel your presence, but I'm not afraid. So if you charge at me, just know I'm not gonna run. There's his room. At least they think it's his room. Room 2. That's where that deranged patient used to chase nurses. And that's why they think that that might be him. I'm coming up to your room, okay? Don't be alarmed. Ooh, what is that? What is that? I keep hearing like movement in there. I can hear you in there. Come on out. Oh my god. That door just partially opened. Oh. Oh, come on, Ian. Just go up to it. Hello? Who's in here? This room's locked. I can't even go in there. Why would they lock it? To keep him in there? Maybe I can look through the crack. The crack of the door. Hello? Anyone in here? That just sounded like a breath. That just sounded like a breath. Oh God. Oh, oh my God. Oh, fuck. Ah, that fucking hurt. Oh, God. Oh, God. Get me out of here. Oh, I felt something slam that door on me. Holy shit. I don't know how much more this is gonna... It's coming after me. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh fuck, oh fuck. I'm out of here. I'm done for the night. I can't take this. I can't take it.
It was clear that the patient was not content and was very agitated that it was bound to one room. It opened and closed the door, even breathing down the crack once, but that was nowhere near the worst part. The shadow of the spirit seemed to have escaped the room and darted at poor Ian on the other side of the door. This was more than enough to frighten him away from the location for due course. I have no doubt that Ian will be featured in a haunter video exploring this hellhole again though. In the following video, a young girl by the name of Sabrina was in her room doing regular things when some really weird things began to happen. Out of panic, she ran out of the room to the living room where the rest of her family were. But shortly after, she decided to go back and investigate with her phone. What she managed to film was very freaky. First of all, if you paid close attention, you would have noticed that the door opened without any form of interaction from Sabrina, which was very weird. This was nothing in comparison to what actually happened in the room though. From falling books to closing wardrobes, everything paranormal went down in there, and we can only hope that Sabrina managed to get out okay. On December the 5th of 2011, Ricky Squire was filming an innocent video for the boys' group chat. Everybody in the chat decided to show off some of their coolest possessions, and it happened to be Ricky's turn, so he was walking around recording show-off worthy things. One of these things happened to be his truck, which was an impressive thing to own at the age of Ricky at the time. It was while he was introducing this truck to his video though that the unexpected happened, and fortunately, he did not stop the recording.
There's my truck. I fucking need to sell that fucking thing. Brandon don't want to sell it though. I don't know what the fuck for. Shit. Bailey! What the? Bailey! What the f***? What the?
Somehow, the chair in the kitchen moved on its own accord, and it was very clear that there were no strings or other interfering items in the area. As if this was not enough to scare the living daylight out of Ricky, the spirit also opened the refrigerator door, and based on the reaction it got from Ricky, it certainly did the job of provoking fear. Losing the life of a loved one is a very sad time for anybody, and the feeling is the same when you lose a pet. The man in the following video had owned a dog for several years now, and he just could not picture a life without the pet until it left him. 3 days prior to this ghostly encounter, the dog was unfortunately put down due to its illness, and whilst it was the best that they could do for the hound, it broke the family's heart regardless. You know what they say when you lose a loved one though? They will always be with you in your heart. Well, that was the case for this family.
Hey! Hey!
One thing that the dog used to always enjoy doing was opening and closing the door to his crate, and none of them knew why. At the time, the man behind the camera did not realize the connection between what was happening to the crate and the passing of his dog. But after the realization hit him, he knew that it was his long-serving pet, which came back to visit him and regretted showing fear and discomfort. Abdullah was a man who did not have many friends, so he took a lot of passion when it came to live streaming. This activity gave him a way to connect with tons of people, as well as make some pocket money on the side of his real job, so there were no real negatives to doing it. However, one fateful night when he was doing one of his usual streams, where he would discuss life with his viewers, something extremely shocking happened, and you may have a look.
I was live on Instagram and then this happened.
What?
कौन الله لا اله الا هو الكل لا تؤذوا سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الارض من ذا الذي يشفعون له لا باذنه يعلم ما بين ايديهم وما خلفهم ولا يؤتون بشيء من علمه الا ما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والارض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم من سمعه कौन हो कौन It's around 11. मैं भी Instagram पे भी live आया हुआ था. I was just live on Instagram and कौन? मैं खोलने गया था। मैं नहीं खोलूंगा।
Very late at night, Abdullah's door began to knock, and due to the time this should not have been happening. At first, he jumped to the conclusion that it was a group of drunk people after a party or something along those lines, but it is pretty safe to assume that if that were the case, they would have responded to his words. When Abdullah posted this video online, everybody thought that he was going crazy if he seriously had any belief that this was caused by a spirit. There was no way a ghost would waste its time knocking on a door when it could just stroll through it, right? Well, Abdullah read all of the comments claiming that this was not a ghost and decided to make a second part. Here it is.
So this happened again.
अब्बा, अपना नाम बताओ पहले मुझे। अपना नाम। मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला, अपना नाम बताओ। तुम्हारा अब्दुल्ला मैं हूं, तुम नहीं हो। नहीं खोलना मैंने। ओके, मुझे आयतुल कुर्सी आती है, मैं आयतुल कुर्सी पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर दूंगा। निकल जाओ यहां से। आओ अंदर आओ, आओ आओ अंदर अब, जो भी हो। मगर मेरी एक बात याद रखना, जहां से भी तुमने जो भी करना तुम।
This time around, things became much freakier and much less deniable, even for the non-believers. Mimics are some of the most frustrating and horrifying poltergeist forms because they can copy anyone's voice, making it really easy for them to lure you into doing something. In this particular scenario, they managed to lure Abdullah into opening his door, which must have allowed them inside of the house. Due to Abdullah being huge on religion and not committing many sins, with the ones he had committed being repented for, it made no sense as to why these spirits chose him to cast their hauntings upon. Unfortunately, we will never truly know whether or not they meant harm, because after causing a small mess, they did not do much. But I advise you to wish Abdullah luck in the comments. Earlier in this video, we looked into the household of a family who sadly lost their dog to an illness, but this next clip is quite the opposite. It took place in the house of Valentina, a widow who divorced her husband years ago and now lives in a small, one-floor bungalow with no one other than her 2 dogs. Now she is very lucky to have a supportive family that comes over and checks on her frequently in case something was to go wrong, and in the following clip, something most definitely went wrong. Valentina was recording a simple video for herself, where she was calling over her 2 dogs when all of a sudden this happened.
Ho preso il telefono in mano perché sono 2 giorni che mi butta in terra i vasetti, soprattutto quello di qua a destra vicino alla zuppiera. E quindi siccome lo stava facendo anche adesso... Ulisse! Ulisse! Vieni, andiamo, dai! Ulisse! Andiamo fuori, via, andiamo! Vieni! Vieni, amore, si va fuori, vieni! Vieni! Vieni qua, vieni! Bravo, amore, bravo! Bravo, Ulisse! Andiamo fuori? Andiamo fuori? Vuoi andare fuori con la mamma? Andiamo? Mettiti qui vicino a me, via. Così. Bravo, Ulisse, così. Guarda, non lo fa più. Russi da sveglio. Russi da sveglio. Amore. Dai, non ci credo, non lo fa più. Andiamo fuori, Ulisse. Eccolo, l'ha fatto. Andiamo fuori? Oddio, c'è poco da ridere, però vabbè. Andiamo fuori. Oh, mio. Andiamo fuori, vuoi andare fuori? Eh sì? Oh mio Dio, signore. Di solito prendi questi. Questo di solito fa cadere. Vabbè. Visto? Dai, rifacciamolo. Rifammelo, vai. Ulisse. Tranquilli loro oggi, Ma quanto è strano, che non ci si può. Come fai a spiegare queste cose? Non le spieghi più.
An ornament fell from the cabinet below the television, and Valentina, understandably, stood up to go and reclaim it. What made this very weird was the fact that the ornaments never moved, and it was in a highly stable position. Furthermore, there was no shake or anything of the sort which could have incentivized this collapse to happen, so who knows what went on. What we do know, though, is that Valentina uploaded a second video to her TikTok account, showing even more paranormal activity, and this time around it was much harder to deny.
Buongiorno, sono sola a casa. Ulisse dorme, la Clio è sotto il letto. Praticamente da ieri, quando ho fatto il video, ieri sera mi ero accorta che la porta si era aperta. Non so se la cosa è correlata dal fatto che ho aperto. Ho aperto il baule. Lo so. Perché era già un po' di tempo che. In questa mano sto tenendo il telefono.
Strangely, the door opened itself not once but twice, and it does not take a genius to know that this had to have been a spirit. Valentina explained that no windows were open during this event, meaning that it could not have been the wind, and paired with the fact the ornament fell from the television just a few days prior to this, things were not looking too good. Valentina let her family know about the incident, and went as far as to show them the video, but unfortunately, there was nothing that any of them could do about it. Feel free to comment some ideas for them. Embalming is a process that is undergone in hospitals, and in case you do not know what this is, let me explain. In simple terms, it describes the process where a human body is preserved using preservatives so that the effects of natural deterioration are slowed. Now on the surface, the video that shows this process seems to be normal, but see if you can spot or hear the creepy part about it.
El día de hoy estamos transmitiendo un video y vamos a demostrar cuál es uno de los trabajos más raros, difíciles del mundo, que es un embalsamado. Estamos en el laboratorio de un embalsamado y nos van a explicar cómo es que se hace este trabajo, que es uno de los más raros, más difíciles del mundo. Y no hay muchos que lo hagan. Y estamos aquí con el director de esta casa funeraria. ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Miguel Ángel Contreras, de Contreras Casa Funeral en Guadalajara, Jalisco.
¿Cómo está, Miguel Ángel?
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Miguel Ángel, este es uno de los trabajos más raros, extraños y difíciles del mundo, ¿cierto?
Sí, así es. No cualquiera lo hace, no cualquiera sabe el arte de embalsamamiento. Por lo tanto, nos sentimos orgullosos porque somos sabedores de este arte.
Perfecto. Yo nunca había estado en el laboratorio.
Some sort of screaming noise could be heard in the background, and it sounded awfully like the sound of a child. If the case was a kid pleading for help, then who knows if they are okay. But on the other, and more likely, hand, it could have been a poltergeist, specifically belonging to the man being embalmed, expressing its annoyance. The following video was captured by a shopkeeper called Damian, who was walking around making sure that everything was in pecking order before opening the store. It was very important to make sure that all the items were displayed well and nothing was misplaced, because it helped to maximize sales, which is important for obvious reasons. One day, whilst Damian was on shift doing this regular work, he started to feel weird and heard odd sounds. It was because of this that he started to film and managed to get this on camera.
Bueno, gente, soy el sereno acá de este supermercado y ahora estoy por lavar toda esta zona. Esta sería la zona de huevos, lácteos. Y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma. ¿Qué querrá, no? Parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Quiero trabajar tranquilo. ¿Estamos? Por favor.
All sorts of weird phenomena started to happen around the store, and Damian knew that something was there with him. From falling bread to collapsing trays, all of this would not have happened by sheer coincidence, and the spirit was making its presence known. This was a horrible experience for Damian and actually made him religious. Fortunate, neither him or the shop have seen or hosted any more activity since this date. The kitchen is a common place for paranormal activity, and I have absolutely no idea as to why. Seemingly every video that I publish on this channel has one or two instances that take place in the kitchen, and the one that you are about to see is no different. It took place in the home of Kasos, a Spanish father of two who was enjoying his day off from work after lying about being sick. The bad karma got to him though, because this happened whilst he was supposed to be having a relaxed time.
Bueno, ahí para que vean después el video se lo voy a mostrar. Estoy colocando agüita para llevar un tecito, un termo. Vuelvo a cerrar. Tengo la taza. Esa es mi bebé. Esa pulguita es mi bebé, que se llama Canela. Y esperando. Aquí vean esta piolita. Ya, ahí empezó. Ya. Voy a empezar a huevear. Estoy hueveando. Bueno. No es algo muy normal. La taza se movió. Un gato. No es muy agradable la sensación que se vive acá. Ya, es hueveo, ya. Ya cabros, un ratito para afuera.
He started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from the kitchen, so he did what anybody would have done and investigated. He expected to see something such as a rodent or his cat causing chaos, but what Kasos found was very disturbing. The mug moved itself on its own accord not once, but twice, indicating that it was haunted. Kasos was extraordinarily lucky to have caught this on camera, because who knows who would have believed him otherwise. Donna Ayres is a woman who you will be very familiar with if you are a regular on this channel. She has been a victim of paranormal activity for an extended period of time now, and she has uploaded so much content about her spirit that she will probably be seen in haunter videos several years down the line. The thing that makes her spirit weird is that a lot of its behaviors match that of her ex-husbands, who passed away a few months before the hauntings began. This has led many theorists to believe that he is the one haunting her, but if this is the case, then he must have a serious vendetta against her based on what he does.
Guys, I just thought I'd put you back on. That coin seems to like me very much because it just won't stop. It seems to be making... It's just doing its own shit. And you've got to see this. It is freezing, by the way, on where I'm stood, and I can hear... You wouldn't believe me if I said... Because you'll think I'm fucking losing the plot. I'm not. How is this possible? Guys, you've got to be seeing this. Who are you? What do you want? Are you restless? What do you want? Why won't you leave me alone? What is it you're trying to tell me? Guys, you're seeing this, aren't you? This is ridiculous. Guys, this is ridiculous. The fuck? This... Are you... No, shit. Sorry guys, but I'm just coming in here. That coin just flew at me, right at me. Something. I don't know if it's because I have a Ouija board now and I'm egging this spirit on, but it's getting very violent, very. I'm just going to upload this footage now, guys, because there's too much happening now.
In this clip, the poltergeist toys with a coin that Donna left on the table, and she is evidently scared by this. If the ghost was that of her husband, it likely would have stopped once he realized she was in fear, but going off the fact that it continued to mess with the coin, and even launched it towards her, I am starting to tilt away from that theory. Let me know what you think in the comments. Diego worked in the storage unit at his local institution, and it was a job he enjoyed very much due to how easy it was for the pay. All he needed to do was keep tabs on how much stock the company had, so that if anything went wrong, such as an item being stolen, he could notify the higher-ups to resolve the issue. While the job was incredibly easy though, every now and then Diego felt kind of bored, because it did not involve much, and the majority of the time, nothing went wrong. Occasionally, he would yearn for some sort of crazy event to happen mid-shift for some simple entertainment, and one day, his optimisms were gratified. Take a look.
Mochila. ¿Qué es acá?
What seemed to be something along the lines of a bedsheet fell from the trolley, and Diego was completely and utterly baffled. He had no clue how he was supposed to react to such an incident, and actually ended up notifying his boss shortly after it happened. His boss claimed that it must have been caused by a source of wind, but there were no windows where this place was making this excuse, lame to put it in a light tone. This was definitely a ghost, and the only people who deny this are non-believers. When you think of the term ghost hunters, the chances are that you think of somebody whose job is to go out and seek ghosts. Whilst in most cases this would not be wrong, not all ghost hunters have this as a job, and many just do it as a hobby. The clip that you are next going to be exposed to was captured by one of those people who searched for spirits simply out of entertainment. His name is Ellis, and he decided to explore a haunted house when he caught this on camera.
Uy, no mames, ¿qué fue eso?
¿Hay alguien?
Uy, alguien corre, alguien corre, alguien corre. Alguien está corriendo.
¿Hay alguien aquí?
Miren, aquí hay puertas, como que alguien quitó la puerta.
¿Hay alguien aquí?
Uy, 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 se acaba de mover esto, amigos. Se acaba de mover esto. Y esto se movió.
¿En dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Queremos verte.
Se acaba de mover esto. Uy, 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 uy. Uy, uy. Ahí está caminando, amigos. Ahí está caminando, ahí está caminando. Ahí está caminando.
¿Hay alguien?
Uy, me caigo.
¿Hay alguien aquí? Si estás aquí, quiero que te manifiestes.
Uy, ¿qué fue eso? ¿Qué es eso?
All sorts of clearly haunting things happened around the household, and there was no denying that a spirit was behind all of this. Despite doing this as a hobby for quite some time, Ellis was rather petrified this time around, and after ending the recording, left the scene completely. Camping in the woods can be a great experience or a horrible one, and it is rare that you manage to find anything in between. You could either have a blast with your friends and have zero sleep with maximum fun, or be stuck in the middle of a murder scene, and unfortunately, the latter was the case for the couple in our next video. They were having an innocent camping trip in the middle of the woods, then they suddenly heard some loud screaming noises that sounded way too close for comfort. This beckoned the woman to grab her phone and take this.
kids running around in here. Can you hear them all?
That's a big ass dog.
That's a girl crying. Can you hear that, guys? Hang on. Turn the lights off for a minute, people. Turn these lights off. Turn these lights off. Hang on a minute, guys. We've got to turn these lights off. Turn the lights off. Turn that light off. Turn it off. Shh. Shh. Just sit down. It is a girl. It is kids, guys, but I did hear a girl, so can you just bear with us a minute? Because that bloke sounds a bit weird. Just bear with, yeah? Is he getting closer? Can we just turn all the lights off so he can't see us, please? Because he sounds really weird. Where's he gone? Oh my God. I can't even hear anything, and that's... What was that? I'm at Brian's, Sam. I'm near Brian's. See? I don't mind hunting ghosts, but it's the humans that worry me.
Same,
Human beings freak me out.
give me a cryptid any day.
I just want to know that he's gone, really. Is that him? That sounds far away.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, okay, we're coming back. Give us a minute. Sorry, that was
savage.
That was just you know what it is, it's Saturday night, so even if they're playing around or not, he did sound a bit, yeah, I don't really want him coming over to me, so
Eventually, after a long period of time, the screaming came to a complete halt, and the two of them took a few moments to gain the confidence to turn the lights back on. Whoever was behind this clearly had ill intent, and they were both fortunate to have come out safe. The scariest form of paranormal activity is a debatable topic, and I can see myself listening to arguments for all sorts of types. One form of hauntings that I just fail to see past, however, is apparitions, and this is because they tend to have a creepy and uncanny nature. The following video took place in a little girl's room and was actually filmed by the girl who had only recently been gifted a mobile device from her parents. It is truly horrific that a spirit had the heart to put her through this. For a split second, the apparition of an uncanny spirit appeared in her room and it looked terrifying. She sprinted downstairs and showed her mother after the recording ended, who was equally as freaked out by the clip, and rightfully so. Alex is a woman who has appeared on this channel before, for having a haunted home that she managed to obtain some clips from. This video is adding to her haunter appearance tally and showcases another time that she managed to catch the spirit in the act on camera, except this time it happened all around the house. Alex seemed to have to trek around the entire building to see what was going on, and she got a lot on camera. Due to having a portfolio of evidence ready to show off to a ghost hunter, once she had enough to hire one, she added this video to it, and if she posts anything else, you will be the first to see it if you subscribe. Snooker is a game enjoyed and played by many across the world, and this is likely due to how simple the fundamentals and mechanics are. Tables are installed in almost every single bar, and some fortunate households are able to own one, but the one in the video that you are about to watch was in a metro station, the break room for the staff in particular. One day, a man called Caesar, one of the members of staff, claimed to have seen the snooker table have some balls move without any human interaction, and so he came to the decision of taking out his camera to record the table and see if it would happen again. Did it? Well, have a watch and find out.
Chucha, weón. Oh, conchetumare. Oh, mierda. Oh, qué weá. Qué weá. Oh, cabro. Cabro. Cabro, weón.
To the surprise of Cesar, it did in fact happen again, and this time it was even more aggressive than the last. He quickly took his findings to the main office in order to inquire about what they were going to do next. To the dismay of Cesar, nobody actually believed him and accused him of making some form of system that made the snooker balls move for attention. And since Cesar did not do this, he got rather offended. He quit the job with a 2-week notice and walked out of the building, praying that the hauntings would continue so that they would eventually believe him and he would get the last laugh. The following video took place inside the household of Abdul, a religious man who had full faith in a spiritual world that was by no means accessible to humankind. He believed that this world was full of entities, and whether they were evil demons attempting to cause chaos, or holy angels trying to restore peace wherever the demons walked, they existed. Abdul did, however, believe that compared to the rest of the world, he was a nobody, and he would be the last person that a demon would attempt to torment. Well, in the video that I am going to expose you to right now, this theory was proven wrong. Quite a few things happened in this clip, with the primary focus being physical hauntings. The thing that I would like to point out the most, though, is the fact that the supposed demon pushed some form of holy scripture to the floor. Abdul explained after the incident that until this happened, he was okay and could cope with the situation, but after that his heart started racing. All the act did was prove that this poltergeist was not an angel of God, and rather a demonic creature from hell. Julio Gomez was a man who took pride in his hobbies, even though some of them were very abnormal, to put things lightly. For example, one of his most enjoyable activities was to visit all sorts of locations that are deemed as haunted and prove whether or not their label is true, and through this, he has gained a decent social media following. In the piece of content that I am going to show you, he visited the cellar of a bar that supposedly had a spiritual little girl haunting it, and the stories of her went back through absolute centuries. Julio knew that this spirit was not aggressive due to the reports, but just wanted to make sure that this wasn't some fake publicity stunt from the bar to garner more customers and hence make more revenue for their business. Here is the short clip that Julio managed to capture.
Niña, niña marciana, ¿dónde estás? Niña. Niña marciana. ¿Dónde estás? Ay,
At the start of the clip, a wailing sound echoed down the stairwell, and Julio was extremely freaked out by this. It sounded like the source of the sound was in pain and most certainly suffering, but due to his knowledge of the place being haunted, he had no urgency to check on the likely spirit. He slowly went up the stairs in case the girl was real and was cautious of a sudden paranormal surge. And you guessed it, the second he fell for the bait of the poltergeist, a locker moved on its own accord down the stairs. This place was 100% haunted, and it went down as another successful mission from Julio. On December the 1st of 2021, Carlos, a Mexican man who lived with his small family of 3, was home alone whilst his wife and son were out clothes shopping late at night. Carlos was an innocent man, and that is not a far-stretched comment whatsoever. He did not believe in any sort of what he called paranormal rubbish, or any religious things because he was more of an "I'll believe it if I see it" kind of guy. Carlos used to throw this quote around all the time, and he was given the nickname "See It Carlos" at his workplace, which even he managed to have a chuckle at. Little did anybody know, though, that one day Carlos was going to see it and become a believer for the rest of his life. This is that date.
Hola amigos de TikTok, nada más quería decirles que estaba por empezar live y todo el día se había estado haciendo como una vibra muy mala en la casa. Había tiempo que no pasaban estas cosas desde que puse la cámara. De hecho me voy a atrever ahorita a bajar, aprovechando que los perros están muy ladridos. Hola. Ahí solo está mi queridísima bicha, viendo no sé qué en el árbol. ¡Bicha! ¡Bicha!
Carlos went downstairs into his sitting room to find the cat behaving quite strangely. Usually she rested on her little bed beside the kitchen door, but this time around, she was alert and sitting on the sofa. We all know that there is a theory of cats being able to spot ghosts too. Just to back up the fact that the cat sensed a spiritual presence, one of her toys moved without any visible force acting upon it, and this made it clear to Carlos that he was being haunted. He put the toy into the trash and immediately made a trip to the tip, never encountering any spirits again. It's rare in a haunter video that I include a clip from the same person twice, except space them apart. But this time, I am going to do just that. Clip 2 of this video was taken by a man named Abdul, and as I said, he was a religious man who experienced a demon attempting to haunt him. After that incident, Abdul decided to add new prayers to his routine and ask to be protected from said demons, but despite his efforts, they continued to come. He was becoming really stressed out with it all and was tempted to hire an exorcist to come and help him handle the situation. Here is another clip that Abdul captured from the haunting.
Me llama mucho la atención. Esta silla la había comprado yo en un centro comercial. Realmente no me la traje de ningún lado. Pero me llama mucho la atención porque cuando quiero... Bueno, se ha estado moviendo muy raro. Y... Bueno, por ejemplo... Sia, quiero hablar contigo. Sia, quiero hablar contigo. Eso es lo que me llama la atención. Se me ve como si de verdad no quisiera que yo hablara con ella. Ven aquí, ven otra vez de este lado. Sia. Paso de este lado y es exactamente la misma situación. Sia. No sé qué puedo hacer eso. La silla sigue moviéndose como si nada. Sia. ¿Por qué no quieres que hablemos ya? Otra vez. No sé por qué sucede eso. Es como si me negara, como si no quisiera.
This time around, the spirit was much more low-key about it. Instead of outright pushing his holy scripture to the ground, Abdul's gaming chair continued to move without anybody on it, and it was clear that no strings were attached. Very creepy. Working as a night shift security guard is a stressful job, regardless of what happens. The eeriness of being alone is enough to break any man into a psychotic state, but when you add the spiritual world into the mix, it becomes a recipe for disaster. The guard who was able to catch our next video on film was working in a children's hospital and hated his job to the maximum. He was always complaining about things, and his family often begged him to quit for his own mental health, but it paid well, so he held out. One night an event happened that tilted him into the idea of quitting, and immediately after he handed in his 2-week notice. Take a look.
Grabado por guardia de seguridad.
He continued to hear knocking from the exact same door all night, and eventually decided that it would be smart to film so that he could show his boss why he was going to quit. Nobody else was in the building with the guard, and his job was a solo one, so it physically could not have been a human that was the root of this dramatic event. Destiny loved making TikToks and put absolutely anything and everything on her page. Unfortunately, none of her videos really hit the spotlight until the one that I am going to show you. It was filmed by her boyfriend and soon-to-be fiancé, who was out of the house doing work. He was a Wi-Fi installation worker for his local broadband company and was sent to households all across his state. Unlike most people in this field, he loved working with electricity and could not have asked for a better job if every single one was made available to him. But of course, every now and then some bad or strange things happen, and this was one of them.
There's nobody in here.
After hearing the first wave of this, the man was deeply frightened and took out his mobile device to see if he could record it for a second time. He was able to, and that was what the video was, which he sent to his girlfriend, who went on to upload it to her socials. Do you think there could have been a natural cause for this? Well, let me know down below. In a recent video on this channel, we looked into the haunted lifestyle of the Midwest ghost hunter, and based on that name alone, you can tell where this is going. This man will go anywhere and everywhere to catch the thrill of seeing a spirit, and the 2 clips that you are about to witness came from an abandoned sanatorium. The time was 2 a.m., and all the way through this trip, he experienced true horrors, but I picked a few out just for you guys. So here is the first.
Alright, so right here I've got a spirit box. I'm going to see if I can get any communication through this. Oh, jeez, before I even get it out, I'm already hearing things. Hello? Okay. What the fuck? Who's down there? Weird noises down there. Who's down there? State your name. Oh, holy shit. Those were footsteps. Oh, God. Who's down there? Oh, come on, Ian. Just go towards him. I'm coming towards you. Whoever or whatever's up here is giving me a creepy vibe.
These noises were very unsettling for the Midwest ghost hunter, because it was clear that the poltergeist behind them wanted him to know of its presence. The footsteps got to him the most because they were swift and quiet, almost as if the spirit was on its tiptoes. This was not all that he managed to hear, though.
It was kind of weird. You could see all the pipes and stuff in there. There's like a window to it, too. I've never really seen anything like that. Just trying to check out all the different rooms I haven't gone in yet. Oh, here's another bathroom. Hello? That was me. It's like some showers. Damn, this room is creepy. Oh God, gotta look around this corner. Nothing in there. What about over here? But these are some tiny showers. They really didn't give you much space back then, huh? Holy moly. That sounded like a female voice. Hello? Hello? Ma'am? Who's over here? Okay, I know I heard someone down this hallway. Where are you? That woman's voice was so loud I heard it echo. It echoed through this hallway. She seemed nice. At least I hope so. That came from outside. Whoa, what the? Whoa, I just saw something! Something just moved! It was right over here. Something just walked by this. I saw it with my own eyes. Ma'am, are you out here? Thought I'd just seen you. See if I can see her again. Hello? Whoa! I just heard her voice again! It was right over here. Look! There's nothing! There's nothing here!
This time he heard the voice of a female, which confirmed the gender of the spirit to him. Furthermore, he saw some pretty frightening graffiti pieces on the wall, including a satanic symbol which could have insinuated that the place has hosted rituals in the past. Roger was a man with a very strong belief in the paranormal world, and he counted himself very lucky to have not experienced it. Despite his beliefs, nobody else that he knew believed in this world though, and deemed him as strange, so he set out to prove himself right. In order to attempt to make a ghost attached to him, he visited graveyards, abandoned buildings and places that you would expect to be haunted, so that one would decide to come with him, and soon enough, one did. Roger heard banging in his basement, so went down to investigate the scene, and this is what he found. First of all, he heard a bang upstairs, which led him to go back into the stairwell, but little did he know that this was a trap. The ghost closed the door behind him and continuously slammed it, and being brave, Roger went into it again. Although this time the spirit got physical. It launched something to the ground, showcasing its true powers to Roger, who wished he had never seeked these horrors. The worst part was that everybody thought that he framed the video, even though it clearly was not fake, so he did it all for no reason. One thing about Roger that you must be aware of though, is that he is not a quitter, and so he prevailed with a mission to gather more reliable evidence. The very next day, he sat down in the kitchen with his laptop so that he could do some work, but of course he had a side quest. Besides him was his mobile phone recording him for every minute, in hopes that something would happen, and you bet it did.
Hello?
At first, he heard some footsteps, and like any human would, he naturally went to go and investigate what was up. Roger was drawn to the kitchen, which is where the soft footsteps came from, and sure enough, nobody was there. Not only that though, the cabinet also slowly creeped open before spilling some contents onto the floor. And this is when Roger had enough and went on a leisurely stroll around the park. He sent the video to some people, but for a second time, they did not take his word. This filled poor Roger with anger for about a week, and he really could not cope with it. Not being believed when you are telling the truth is an insufferable experience, and this man was unfortunately going through it. However, after roughly a week, Ryger buckled up his strength for one last push, except he had a better plan. He realized that the other 2 videos he had captured were not authentic, and rather were planned captures. Perhaps if he caught a spirit authentically, then it would be more believable. He stopped all planning and waited for several days until eventually he got his chance and took it.
I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. I'm just trying to sleep. I literally just dozed off. And it sounds like somebody knocking at my fucking door. Hello?
This time, Roger was in bed, which was completely natural before the incident occurred. Suddenly, he started to hear some mysterious sounds, and then started to film, and the rest is history. Like the other 2 videos, Roger sent them to his close people and published them to his stories, and at last, he was believed. They all apologized to Roger, who managed to achieve the last laugh, and that is a happy ending to a not-so-happy story. The following video was set up and captured by a famous ghost hunter who goes by the name of Chase. His birth name is Alonzo, but due to his methods of eradicating spirits, he was given this name for when people were trying to contact him. The clip that I am going to expose to you shortly came from one of his operations, where he was exploring an abandoned building that a business hired him to cleanse so that they could purchase the cheap property. He agreed to the task and went in alone. Here is one of the things that he managed to witness.
Está moviendo, amigos. ¿Hay alguien aquí? Hoy es el cartón ese, amigos. ¿Estás aquí con nosotros? Se movió el cartón este. ¿Estás aquí con nosotros? Este fue, amigos. Este fue. ¿Dónde estás? Hoy. ¿Dónde estás? Uy. Sí fue esto, amigo, sí fue esto. Ya ves que sí, el cartón. ¿Dónde estás? Dime cómo te llamas. Aquí hay algo, amigos, aquí hay algo. ¿Cómo te llamas? Aquí hay algo, amigos, el cartón este se acaba de mover. Este cartón se acaba de mover. Dime cómo te llamas, queremos verte. Uy. Manifiéstate si estás aquí. Ay, ¿qué fue? No manches, fue la botella, fue la botella. Uy. Alguien está hablando, fue la botella la que se movió. Quería ver si se movió el cartón, amigo, fue la botella la que se movió. ¿Estás aquí conmigo? ¿Estás aquí? ¿Alguien está hablando? ¿Estás aquí? Este cartón se movió primero, amigos. Y la botella que está aquí.
Strangely, a small piece of an unidentifiable material slid across the floor, and this was very spooky. Chase was not taken aback by this though, because he was telling the spirit to do it anyway, so was actually quite pleased that it obeyed. After this, he then asked it to move the same object again, to which the poltergeist was not so willingly obedient. It moved the water bottle in the corner of the room, but at least it was able to move something. After the exploration, the cleansing was successful, and the business now operates within these walls. A woman called Lara and her husband Stephen both own Oculus Quests, and it is a very good method that they use to bond with each other. The array of games that you can play on these devices is massive, so it does make sense why they are entertained by them so easily, but not this time. They were playing a game that required them to take turns with 15-minute sessions each, and Lara wanted to go first, as she had not played the game in quite some time. Stephen allowed her to, and took himself to the kitchen to prepare a nice fruit salad, and Lara started to load the game. It was whilst she was doing this that something peculiar happened though, so take a look. If you could not tell what happened, then let me break it down for you. Lara was loading the game, meaning that she could see the real world through the Oculus, and it turns people around you into shadow figures. Just a note to remember, nobody was around her. For some mysterious reason, there was a shadow figure standing ahead of her, and even after checking the cameras, there was no one in that position. Lara hopes that it was simply the shadows casting it, but it is rare that shadows are precise enough to make a standing human being. It must have been a ghost. Ashley Hall had growing suspicions about a spirit living in her house, but never really had any reason to do anything about it. All that she noticed was the occasional object being in a different location, but for all she knew, her family could have been doing it, so she took zero action. One day, however, the spirit smashed an object in her room, and the weird thing was that nobody was home when it happened. When the family left the house, it was completely intact, and it had magically destroyed itself since. This led to Ashley taking a more serious approach and trying to expose the poltergeist that orchestrated the attack. Was she successful? Well, watch along and answer the question for yourself.
What's the TV show called? TV show, oh, the Fairy God Carrots. Oh, fucking hell.
Ashley decided that she was going to ask the spirit to do something, and in order to up the stakes, involved some family photos which were fragile. The ghost listened and moved all of them, only dropping one onto the sofa, which cushioned its fall and kept it intact. Perhaps the spirit felt bad about breaking whatever was in her room, and this is why it did not break anything, but who knows? Apparitions are not an easy subject, and is by far the scariest way you can come across a ghost. You can only imagine how spooky it would be though, because I would bet my life savings that you will not see one due to how rare they actually are. The following one took place in a local mosque, where a man was running a session teaching children about Allah and his many values. This spirit, presumably a jinn, had other ideas though.
Aku Herwan sekitaran masjid. Apa no weh? Apa no weh? Weh apa no weh? Weh ni. Sumpah weh. Boleh wah. Bani weh. Apa no weh?
It had an uncanny face, a shadow figure, and a weird posture, which put together gave it a horrifying experience. Furthermore, the way that it was high up and looking down upon the mosque really added to the fear factor and made it hard to not become frightened. The jinn was never caught in the mosque again, and this was a one-time occurrence. The Midwest Ghost Hunter is a man that the regulars on this channel will be very familiar with. With the real name of Ian, this ghost hunter started a YouTube channel under the Midwest title, as all his spiritual expeditions took place in, you guessed it, the Midwest. In the following video, Ian was exploring an abandoned and presumably haunted manor pretty close to his home, and the stuff that he managed to get on film were crazy. Have a watch.
I'm gonna put this device on your wheelchair, okay? I'm just gonna set it right there. If you're in here with me, could you set that device off? Oh wow, there you are. Thank you. Guys, I am getting chills all over my arms. Grace, are you sitting in this wheelchair right now? Before I even finished. Grace, are you able to see me right now? If so, touch the green light. Oh wow, yes. Thank you. This might sound really strange, but I can't see you right now. I don't see you at all, Grace. Are you aware that you've passed on? Oh my god, I just heard a voice. Grace, was that you I just heard? That sent a shiver down my spine. I am hearing her voice. I am hearing her voice in here. It's very faint, but I could definitely hear it. Grace, what do you mean when you say that the devil is after you? Who is the devil? Oh. That was a fucking deep voice. Holy shit. Oh, that was terrifying. Come on, Ian. Get it together.
Ian came across a wheelchair with some glasses on it, and due to his research on the lore of this place, he knew that it was an elderly woman called Grace, the grandma of the family who lived in the manor. He used a device to successfully communicate with her, but when she started to use her voice, followed by the deep voice that claimed to be demonic, he knew that he had to bring things to a halt. After a 5-minute break though, he was back at it, and if you subscribe and watch the next video that I post on this channel, you will see what else he managed to capture. The following video took place in an Armenian household and was captured by a man called Ragalzu. He was your standard man. He had 3 children, a loving wife, and a very well-off income. But he had a hobby which did not make sense considering all this success. He often visited haunted locations because he, quote, enjoyed the thrill of being in life-threatening danger. And as I said, considering his success, this made 0 sense. The video that you are about to see took place during one of his adventures in an abandoned house in rural Armenia, and what he caught on video was wild.
Y segundo, que la batería del teléfono me dure. Uy, hijo de puta, cogió la par mía. Ariel Jiménez, hola, buena. Tocayo, tengo el mismo nombre y apellido. ¡A la verga! Les dije. Corrió a la par mía, giré y me cerró la puerta atrás. Qué lindo, ¿no? Ah, gritaron. Están gritando afuera. Ojalá que... Ojalá que se haya grabado bien todo. Literalmente corrió a la par mía que escuché el... Así, me doy vuelta y cierro la puerta. Mira. La está viendo. ¿Te paso papel? Nah, chifo. Permiso. Ok. Tiriri. Ah, su puta madre. Tanto a joder con la puerta.
From the peculiar noises to the doors moving without any visible force acting upon them, it was clear that paranormal activity was at a high in this place. Furthermore, Ragglezu claimed to have felt awfully cold all of a sudden when the paranormal stuff began, which is a telltale sign of a spirit being present. Going out late at night can be a scary experience, especially in a place that can become as sketchy as the streets of Mexico. This clip was filmed by a young man called Stefan, and he was out late after walking his girlfriend back home from the bar like a gentleman. He made it to the train station to get back home when he noticed a gateway opening and closing by itself. Instinctively, Stefan took out his phone to record the incident occurring, and to his absolute joy, the spirit did not halt in its antics.
Mira, cosas que pasan en Barranco, en el Metropolitano. Oh, qué miedo. Uy, el cuco. El cuco. Uy.
This phenomenon was unexplainable because, as you can see by the lack of movement, it clearly wasn't a windy day in Mexico. On top of this, the gate was supposed to be sealed, and after the clip surfaced, the operator who sealed the gate promised that he did it that night. The chances are that this was more than likely a ghost caught on camera. On March the 8th of 2025, Emma had just completed one of the best nights of her life. You see, she had turned 18 the day prior, so all of her friends slept over, and once they all returned back home, Emma retreated to her room for a recovery, so she would be okay to attend college the next day. Immediately after jumping into bed, her lights were out, but surprisingly, her day had one more surprise in store for her, but it was far from a pleasing one. On the other side of the door, Emma could hear some creepy dialect, and she started to realize that it kind of sounded like somebody she knew. Her friend, Nicole, had only left the house 10 minutes prior, but she had 100% driven away, and the door had been locked, so it was not her. Whatever this spirit was trying to do, it clearly had negative intentions, considering it mimicked the voice of somebody close to Emma to try and invade her space. Fortunately, she did the wise move and ignored the mimic and gave it absolutely no attention once the video ended. This proved to be an amazing choice because slowly but surely, the human sounds started to drain out and Emma was ready to jump back into bed, but for some reason, the mimic struck again.
And this is why I can't call the cops, because when I go to look, there's no one there. I know it's hard to see, but I'm not opening the door. There's like no one out there, and like, this is a window. There's no people, but this is a window, and you can really see out there. And it's hard to see it. So I don't know what the hell is going on.
This time, as well as using its voice to mimic that of a loved one, it was scratching on the door, which added much more tension to the situation. As well as this, Emma decided that this time around, she was going to get proof that nobody was sitting on the other side. She filmed through both windows with an angle on the door, and to her dismay, nobody could be seen on the other side, making this whole saga unexplainable. Dua Lupe, not to be mistaken with the music artist Dua Lipa, is a popular social media influencer known for the combination of her attractive looks and paranormal content. She first started uploading videos centered around the paranormal universe quite some time ago, and it acted as a huge funnel for viewers to come into her TikTok page, so she did the only logical thing and rode the wave. She continued to visit some of the most haunted places on the planet, but none managed to deliver her true dream. Dua wanted to witness an apparition. An apparition is when a poltergeist reveals itself physically to the human eye, and these instances are far more rare than any other paranormal incident. Did she manage to capture one on camera for the first time in her life at this haunted shack? Well, have a look and find out for yourself.
Me estoy quedando en una cabaña por el cumpleaños de mi hermana y enfrente hay como una cabaña así, como pero abandonada, chiquita. Y es como una casita del árbol, así como para niños, no sé. Eso por eso se ve muy tenebroso. No sé si se vaya a caer esto porque está como todo podrido. Y no veo como para encender las luces ni nada. Mira, allá está la cabaña. Y... No tiene luz. Hay como una mesa, hay ganchitos de ropa y televisor.
If you were watching closely, you would have noticed the apparition that appeared 6 seconds into the clip. Its head slowly poked around the entrance to the shack before it ducked behind cover again, never revealing itself to the human eye again. Despite evidently feeling fear in the moment, Dua was pleased deep down that she finally managed to experience something of this magnitude and had documented it on YouTube. Her dream had finally been completed, and this proves that spirits don't always encourage discomfort and negativity, even if they intend to. Hotels are some of the strangest places out there, and people don't know why. For some reason, they just tend to have an odd feeling about them, not to mention that a large portion of them have had paranormal reports throughout their history. It does make sense, considering how many people actually stay within them over their lifespans. Anyway, the video that we are about to watch together came from a woman called Avery, and she worked at the hotel. One day, when a bunch of people came around, none of them wanted to stay in room 205, so she did her job and investigated it. These were her findings.
Okay, so I'm here at work tonight, and we have workers that come here that work on the railroad. I checked in 5 of them, and the second floor is where they usually go because that's where all the king suites are at. Well, they're all saying, please don't put me in room 205. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with 205? And not one of them would tell me what was wrong with 205. I said, is it haunted? Like, really, what is it? Nobody can tell me nothing. So how about me and you, all of us, go up to room 205 and see why no one wants to rent that room. So hold on just a second. Okay, walking up there now. Going up the steps. How's everybody's night tonight? Hopefully it's good. Oh, these stairs kill me. Okay. I might have to turn the camera around, so I'm not very good at this, so just bear with me. All right. It's like really cold in here, though. Like, really cold. And the air's not even on. I mean, I don't see anything. So maybe we can sit. Yeah, the air and stuff's not on. Maybe sit in the dark. See if we can hear something. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I'm going to probably lose all my views for my people watching, but okay, let's do this. Oh, God. All right, no, I'm out. Okay. I guess I just got my answer. Oh, my God. Going back to the front. Oh, my gosh. Oh, goodness. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I guess I got my answer. Okay, I think it is haunted. All right, have a good night.
Surprisingly, nothing happened up there. Well, at least on the surface level. After playing the clip back a couple of times, you start to notice that when she walked through the door, a voice could be heard, and it did not take me long to decipher what it said. Hey was the lone word, and if that was not the spirit inviting Avery in the room, I'm not sure what on earth else you could pin it to. Mirrors are known to be the closest thing to a spiritual gateway, and it is unknown as to why they have this reputation. One common superstition is that a mirror on the side of the wall acts as a portal to the underworld, and a surprising amount of people buy into this theory. One of those not being the boy in the upcoming clip. He was alone in his room jamming out to some music when his eyes detected motion in his doorway. Confused, the boy's eyes drifted to the door, and what he witnessed was beyond the unexpected. Take a look.
Oh my God, bro. I just seen the craziest shit. Look, over there. Over there, I just seen the craziest shit. Look! Oh my God. What was that? Oh my God. Oh my God, what is that? I'm like shaking right now. What is that? Look it. Watch, it's gonna do it again. It's gonna do it again. Look at that! Nah, bro.
Whatever that thing was, it was not human, and there are several reasons why. First of all, its entire figure was blacked out, and before you say it was all a shadow, the shadow was behind the blacked out part disproving this. Furthermore, the boy was home alone, and they had a lot of security, so a break-in would not have gone unnoticed. There are no excuses for this event. Of course, there will always be doubters though, and the audience of this clip were no different. This is why the boy uploaded a second clip, and this one was even harder to deny.
Look, there it is again. Holy shit. Look, even the cat's tripping. Even the cat's tripping. Last time he'll tell me to go look. I'm going to look. 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 It's literally just the bathroom. Look. Oh god. Don't ignore that. But look. Windows closed. There's nobody in here. It's just dirty. I'm just not... Like, what is going on, bro? Look at that. What?
This time he went and explored where the casting was coming from, and sure enough, there was nobody on the other side. Could this have been a concerningly coincidental casting from outside the house, or was there truly a spirit inside? Comment your opinions down below. Chase and his wife were staying at her grandpa's house after he recently passed away, and the reason was rather sad. The funeral had been arranged in a church local to where he used to live, but he lived quite far away, so they used his house as accommodation for the night before a new family started the process of moving in. The house already had a gloomy and unfortunate vibe to it, but when this happened, that feeling was only elevated.
How you doing? You okay?
I don't know.
So, we were just going to bed and we're not let me just show you. Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door because we're not sure. And like, we're literally just okay, so we're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we're out here. I'm leaving, like, I don't know what's going on.
All around the house, the doors were knocking and shaking, and this was unexplainable considering Chase and his wife were the only two humans in the house. They decided to leave the household and go to stay in a hotel elsewhere, but perhaps this was the wrong decision, because what if the ghost was in fact the grandpa of Chase's wife? Aisha and her cat had been paired together for years leading up to this moment, and their bond was unbreakable. The cat was first with her when she was just 14 because her parents decided to buy the pet. When Aisha grew older, they decided to let her keep it and bring it to her first rented home because she basically did all of the catering anyways. One night, when Aisha and the cat were sitting in the dining room little together, did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here, to her cat collection. Little did she know that the pet would not be the highlight of the show here.
You look so tired. I know you're tired.
Strangely, the chair came out at Aisha, and she was obviously pretty freaked out by this. She had never tampered with any form of paranormal entity or location, so it made zero sense as to why the spirit had chosen her for the haunting. This is one of many questions that will likely never have an answer. Now, despite humans being so out of touch with the paranormal world, There have been several inventions that supposedly allow us to communicate with entities. Some of these methods are very controversial and up for debate as to whether they are legit or not. However, the Ouija board is one that continuously provides things far from the norm. Unlike other methods where clips just show the board changing letters, Ouija boards often contain clips where haunted things happen. That was no different in the next video. It was filmed in the kitchen where some girls were messing about at a sleepover. It is safe to say that they were messing around in places far out of their depths though. Have a watch.
Okay, nå har jeg begynt. Har du begynt? Hva skal vi begynne med? Hva skal vi si først? Hei. Vet du, jeg tør ikke å stå, jeg må sette meg. Skal vi liksom si god dag eller hei? Julie, skal man si hei først? Nå sa jeg lyst. Ja, jeg tror dere må liksom invitere den da, på en måte. Ja, vi må si hei da, hilse. Ok. Stav hei. Ja. Hei. Det går ikke da. Det var det mye da. Fy faen, ass. Du sa jo at det skulle være kul. Ta ned på god dagen. Det er det. Det går ikke. Shit. Kødder du nå? Ok, vet du hva? Nå kan jeg få gå hjem, eller? Du kan ikke gå hjem? Nei, jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Jeg tør ikke å gå hjem. Eller det fletsa seg. Ta det bort. Ta det bort, sånn her. Jeg tør ikke å ha det her nå. Hva sier? Vi må fortsette da. Ja, men dere, nå faen, nå er ånden her da. Nå må dere... Ja, velkommen etter av valen. Tenk hvis han kommer og tar meg da. Fy faen, jeg sitter alene. Faen, og så sitter vi i vinduet også. Hallo, hva skal vi si nå? Jeg fortsetter ikke nå. Jo, kom igjen da. Jeg fortsetter, jeg ikke vært kjempegøy. Kan dere følge meg hjem, eller? Det er sant. Ja. Kan du... Hallo. Jeg skulle aldri vært med på dette, vet du. Herregud, hva sier? Hva sammen skal vi ta med? Vi må vite om det er damer eller mann, da. Det kommer seriøst sånne lysglimt foran skjermen, altså. Det er dritkult, vi. Hallo, vi har aldri vært med på det her før. Eller jeg har vært med på den, så ikke sånn. Nå trodde jeg døra åpnet seg. Herregud, skal vi fortsette nå, synes jeg? Hva skal vi ta med? Det er det med meg! Kom igjen da, hallo, vi må fortsette. Ok. Nå tar vi oss et tegn da. Skal vi si det sammen? Ok. 1, 2, 3. Gi oss et tegn. Det dingler. Fy faen. Helvete, hele den driten dingler jo. Vi klarer til da. Sjekka. Gi oss et tegn.
Surprisingly, the Ouija board failed to connect to the spirits, and the girls were all rather disappointed with the turnout. Of course, they didn't expect it to work, but nonetheless, it would have been cool if it did so. What happened instead was simply terrifying. The girl on the far side of the table had her drink slide on its own accord, and everybody there understandably screamed. Perhaps the Ouija board summoned a ghost after all. On June the 6th of 2021, Chris and Julia were both in their bedroom watching television. It was just 10 p.m. and their favorite show had just released a new series, so they needed to get it started before they could get any rest. Little did they know that this watching session would include a massive interruption. The episode was about 30% complete, and the couple were loving it. They were so invested that they didn't even bring themselves to have any sort of toilet or food break. They substituted these periods with a ghost break. Julia was way too scared to investigate what caused the bang, so she sent the man of the house, Chris, to take a look. The result of his search was unfortunate because he found nothing except some cans on the floor. After reviewing the camera footage, they knew for a fact that this was an unnatural cause, so got in touch with their local priest. Like this video and comment part 2 for a chance for me to include it in a haunter video sometime in the future. It's not often that a spirit manages to physically affect a person, but in the upcoming video, this one in a billion phenomenon came to life. Meet Taylor, a 30-year-old electrician who takes no interest in either religion or the general paranormal world. He was convinced that nothing could change his mind on these views, and he was more than entitled to that opinion. However, one day something happened which managed to do the trick. It took place in January of 2025, and it is important to note that Taylor had never experienced anything like this before, so it was a new occurrence.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always say it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
Unlike most times where the ghost mentally torments a person, this ghost barged past Taylor on the way past Taylor, causing him to collapse. Taylor was adamant that nobody who knew him who had passed would haunt him, so he was extraordinarily baffled by this situation. What makes things even weirder is that he has not experienced anything like it since either. The following video was captured by a man called Mike, and it was not a first-time ghostly experience for him. In fact, Mike has dealt with countless instances involving a ghost because he purchased his house fully aware that it was haunted due to the extremely cheap cost that he refused to turn down. He was in the process of banishing the spirits from it in order to increase the value, working alongside his local church as well as many freelance ghost hunters. Of course, during this process, the hauntings were still going on though, and Mike managed to film this.
Nie wiem, przed chwilą cały czas coś się znowu dzieje. Boże. O Boże. A teraz wiecie co jest kurwa najgorsze? Że wczoraj jak tak długo wpatrywał się w tą lampę, postanowiłem, że odłączę ją od prądu. Gdzie jest ten kabel cholerny? Lampa jest odłączona. Patrzcie. No. A tutaj jest właśnie ten mój kolega. Masakra.
Now at first, Mike believed this was an electrical issue, but due to his situation, he decided to show the footage to some ghost experts. They all claimed that this was a spiritual act, and the lamp never flickered again from this point, so it did make a lot of sense. In a recent video on the channel, we took a peek into the life of a mother of 3 who was struggling heavily with paranormal activity. In that video, all sorts of weird events were featured, such as flickering lights, heavy breathing, talking, and other events of the sort. But fortunately, it was made clear that this was a one-time occurrence. Well, at least it was at that point. In between then and now, the family have experienced a lot more, and the next piece of footage showcases a time when all of it was caught on camera again. Watch it for yourself. Instead of doing anything visible with the eye, this time the spirit was rather audible and was trying to torment the mother. It knew that she wanted undeniable proof of its existence on camera, so decided to stay out of sight. It was a smart strategy and a cruel one. The mother could hear heavy breathing no matter where she visited in the house, and at one point even heard a little girl talking. This was a surreal experience, and make sure to subscribe, because if anything else happens to this family, then you will be the first to hear about it. Ghost hunting, a profession only taken up by the bravest of people, or the stupidest of people. It depends how you want to look at it. This profession involves being paid by clients to visit their property and search for entities, and it comes under two tasks. They either search for spirits or eliminate spirits. The man in the video here was attempting to search for one and find proof of its existence for the owner.
Me acaban de golpear, tengo una pared que da allá al patio, allá atrás, la puerta es ahí. Yo ahí tengo la computadora y en la pared me acaban de golpear. Yo no sé si fue algo que cayó por haber sido un gato o no sé. Fue bastante pesado el golpe. Siempre hay un montón de gatos por acá, ¿eh? En el barrio. No sé por qué la gente deja los gatos sueltos, digamos. Son gatos de personas, o sea, son gatos de familias. Pero dejan sueltos. ¡Ey, ey, 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 ey! ¿Qué es eso? ¿Lo escucharon? ¿De dónde vino? Uy, me estoy re asustando. No. Ok, si hay algo acá que se retire de mi casa. Puta madre.
As you could see, Fuego, the ghost hunter, clearly found enough evidence of a paranormal entity for his client and cashed out large. With the amount of money Fuego makes, it doesn't look like he's going to quit ghost hunting anytime soon. Tim was a well-known ghost hunter from the United States who posted all of his findings to YouTube. Throughout his years capturing the paranormal, he came across a lot of events, but none were quite as spooky as the one which we are looking at today. It took place in the home of a rather wealthy family who could fortunately afford a ghost hunter to come and help them, and what he found definitely warranted help. Have a watch. Somehow, the bed glided across the floor as if it weighed nothing, and it happened without any sort of intervention. Furthermore, you will have noticed that Tim fell to the floor, and with his experience under his belt, this was very weird. Theorists claim that he was potentially grasping a form of force, and that he did not naturally collapse from fear, but he still refuses to confirm or deny this. However, this incident was not the only haunted thing that occurred during this adventure of Tim's. On top of this, it likely wasn't even the scariest. The video you are about to watch was so frightening that it ended Tim's ghost hunt completely and he was forced to go home.
chose dans une... Je me sens dans un futur.
Strangely, the door continuously opened and closed, and it happened for quite some time after Tim ended the recording. It was evident that no strings or anything of the sort were attached to the door, and this was purely the artwork of spirits. Rocky and his girlfriend, who we do not know the name of, lived a happy lifestyle together and were dead set on staying together for life. There was one series of events, however, that made them double question these choices, and they were the presence of paranormal entities in their home. The upcoming clip came from their kitchen, and it is unexplainable, but if you can come up with a logical solution, then feel free to leave a comment.
J'ai vu quelque chose, je sais pas. Taper. C'est de frapper dans une porte. Dans la porte là, si c'est possible.
Le placard s'est ouvert.
Ah ouais, je viens de voir. Ok. Si c'est ta façon de communiquer, d'accord. Est-ce que tu es une femme? Tu veux communiquer avec nous? Est-ce que je... Il y a des bruits.
Il y a eu un bruit derrière toi.
Surveiller là quand même. Est-ce que tu veux que je m'approche? Franchement, je m'approche quand même. Je m'approche, mais si tu peux apparaître. Non, j'ai pas envie de...
Putain.
Calme, on se calme. Ok, je ne veux pas te faire de mal, hein. On veut juste que tu te manifestes, s'il te plaît. On n'a rien à faire là. Pareil, je sais pas. Ok, d'accord.
Pas l'air très agréable ce soir. Hein.
Bref, merci. On va stopper là, on va arrêter.
Ouais.
C'est mieux.
For some sort of mysterious reason, the cupboard started to open and close by itself, and dishes continued to fly out of it. Ghostly activities were not a new thing for Rocky and his loyal girlfriend, because they had started to occur ever since they first got together, but this experience was freaky for them nonetheless. Now, in case you don't believe that this was real, like many of the commenters on YouTube, they actually filmed another piece of footage which was just as bad. It took place in the same household, except this time around things were all over, rather than just in the kitchen. It really encaptivated the severity and scale of the situation, and in order to truly understand what Rocky and his girlfriend were going through, you must give it a watch.
C'est quoi ça? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Qui est là? Ok. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un ici? Est-ce que vous pouvez vous montrer s'il vous plaît? Oula. Manifestez-vous. Parlez-moi.
around this room, things were falling and moving, and Rocky even claimed to have felt a wave of cold energy passing through him. It was after the recording of this content that they made the choice to put the house up for sale. They could not put up with the hellhole for any longer. The chances are that you have heard of the back rooms before. Just in case you haven't, they are a confusing and haunting series of rooms designed to frighten the living hell out of people. Now, of course, this place is nothing but fictional and just meant to be interesting for its fan base, but sometimes we come across things close to it. For example, our next clip. It took place in a hospital with a similar design to the rooms, and it definitely gave off similar energy. Fortunately for us, a member of staff at the hospital was able to film the area late at night and expose this to the world. Doors closing, items moving, and an undoubtedly cold feeling were all present that night, and the doctor behind the camera was scared out of his skin. After the event, he begged his boss to call a meeting for all of the staff to gather and watch the clip that he managed to obtain, and they were flabbergasted. They continuously beckoned him to reveal that it was some sort of prank, but he was adamant he caught what he did, and eventually they bought into it. All the workers united and asked for higher pay from the manager due to them putting up with the paranormal activity, and to their pleasure, they were granted it.